Pokémon Pokopia has been out for around 2 months now, and it has been a massive success. It's one of the best-selling titles on the Nintendo Switch 2, one of the highest-rated games to release in 2026, and the highest-rated Pokemon game ever. Hi, I'm Matt. I like to talk about video games, pop culture, and pretty much anything else that piques my interest, and as you can see, I've been in a bit of a process of a move for the better part of 2 months now. But even in those 2 months of moving apartments, I still managed to put in over 150 hours into Pokopia. I still had time to go through the main story, find a ton of Pokemon, build a bunch of different buildings and environments, time for everything that Pokopia has to offer. But is it really the best Pokemon game ever? Is it really a Switch 2 must-play title? Is it really? Yes, the answer is yes. I'm not going to drag it on. Pokopia is all these things and more. I adore this game. It is so charming and so full of life. I have a lot of thoughts that I wanted to talk about today. The things that I loved and the things that I wish were different, the things that I liked and the things that I didn't. So today, let's talk about Pokemon Pokopia 1 month later. Pokopia was always a game that I felt questionable about, to say the least. If you go back and look at some of my initial thoughts on it, I've always said that I was looking forward to the game, and I was sold on its concept, but in a cautiously optimistic kind of way. I'm a fan of cozy games like Animal Crossing, as well as games like Minecraft, that really give you the freedom to build and do whatever you want. So there was never really any doubt that I'd be picking Pokopia up. That being said, I have been burned by Pokemon before, so while I was sold on the concept, I was worried about the game's final results. But I've been honestly enjoying this game a lot more than I thought I would. There is so much to love about it, but let's start by talking about the core mechanics of Pokopia. At face value, it's pretty simple. Fix up the environments, build Pokemon habitats, find new Pokemon. It's simple, it's easy, it's cute. But there's an addictive aspect to this game loop. It feels so satisfying to see a world that once looked like junk change to something better. It feels so gratifying to build all these habitats and find that a Pokemon has decided to move in. It's so special to not only find a new Pokemon, but talk with them, make their homes better, and see how it changes your relationship with said Pokemon. And as you explore and build your way through the environment and complete more requests, you can move on to, spoiler alert, new environments. And maybe I just wasn't paying attention to all the trailers enough, or wasn't listening to what they were telling us enough, but I had no idea that we'd be seeing more than one environment here. I was completely surprised, overwhelmed, and excited all at the same time with the idea of rebuilding an entirely new environment with new habitats and new Pokemon. But again, it all leans into just how rewarding this game feels. A lot of people have compared Pokopia to things like Animal Crossing and to Minecraft, and while I do agree that it has a lot of similarities, I think it has a little bit more in common with something like Dragon Quest Builders 2, including a really fun story. I'm not sure if it's because the plot revolves around a bunch of cute Pokemon, but I found myself more invested in the story of this game than I thought I would be. The story follows a Ditto who finds itself in an abandoned Kanto region, with very few Pokemon around and no humans to be found. After assuming the form of its former trainer, Ditto, along with a Tangrowth named Professor Tangrowth, work together to help Pokemon and rebuild the world around them, in hopes that humans will someday return to the area and reunite with their Pokemon. It's a simple premise, but it honestly is one of the first times that I've been interested in the plot of a Pokemon game in years. As a kid, I enjoyed the story of Pokemon Crystal, and I thought that the plot for recent titles, like Pokemon Legends Arceus, were really unique as well. But at the end of the day, these are Pokemon games that we're talking about here. The main thing that I cared about was just catching as many Pokemon as I could. But in the case of Pokopia, I'm trying to find these Pokemon for a whole different reason. Not only in order to progress the story and increase the environment levels, but to meet as many of these Pokemon as I can. The idea of not only having a Pokédex but also a Habitat Dex really makes me want to catch them all more than any other Pokemon game in recent years. There are 300 Pokemon that can be found in Pokopia, and every single one has such a unique personality. They all have things that they like and don't like, their own traits, and again, it just makes it so rewarding to find them and complete quests for them and build them a nice little home with everything that they want. And they have plenty of smaller interactions with you too, such as doing a short quiz, playing games, and giving you gifts to show appreciation. The Pokemon just feel so full of life. The more Pokemon you find, the more ways that they can help you get to new areas of the environment, help you get new abilities, help you create or break down materials, help you build buildings. It really creates a feeling that these Pokemon aren't just in the game so that you can collect them, but that they are a necessary, key part of the game. Every single Pokemon is needed to improve the world that they are living in. All these things add up to making Pokopia a really great experience. I'm not one to sit and say, oh, I'm addicted to this game. There are definitely ones that I will play longer than others or play more than others, but this is a game that I genuinely haven't been able to put down. Like, I've been writing this script for about a week now, and I keep stopping so that I can play more Pokopia. I was caught off guard by just how much I like this game. Pokopia is such an endearing experience for me. It's a game that I can easily see myself coming back to time and time again to check in on my Pokemon and try to find new ones. But even while I love everything about it, I do recognize that it has its handful of issues, so let's take a moment to talk about a few of those as well. Yeah, so for as amazing of a game that I truly think Pokopia is, it has some flaws and things that I wish were handled a little bit differently. For example, there may not be any true Pokemon battles in this game, but I constantly found myself battling with this game's storage system. Even at the earliest parts of the game, I was running out of storage space so easily. Thankfully, this is something that can be upgraded over time. But even now, at its maximum size, I still end up maxing out how much I can carry. The reason why it's such a large issue, at least in my case, is that there are just so many items in Pokopia, and that's not a bad thing, don't get me wrong. It's just another area that the game has so much care and attention to detail. But on the flip side, there are so many items in the game. Every block, every piece of furniture, every single piece of decoration can be picked up, moved around, put wherever you want. But otherwise, it just ends up in your pockets or in your storage. And when there are well over 1,000 different items that can be found in the game, that's a lot of storage and a lot of storage chests. An easy fix would be implementing what Animal Crossing New Horizons has: home storage. Don't get rid of individual storage chests, but allow it so furniture and different items can be moved into one large storage area that can be accessed through a menu when inside of your house. That being said, because you are able to build a home completely from scrap, unlike Animal Crossing, it does make the idea of built-in storage a little bit more difficult. Another minor issue that I have is that I wish that there were more opportunities to really interact with Pokemon. Like I said earlier, these little guys have so much personality, and when building and fixing up their homes, you get to speak with them all the time, checking in and seeing how comfortable they are, what they'd like to see added, etc. But once that's done, there really isn't much to talk about with them, outside of random quizzes and gifts that they may give you. I wish you could just, have a chance to really get to talk to these guys more, because, like I said, seeing each of these Pokemon's personality really shine through is honestly one of my favorite parts of the game. So if I can have another chance or another opportunity to do that, you know I'd jump on it. And there's plenty of little things that I can gripe about too. Controlling some abilities like Rock Smash may be a bit wonky at times, but using mouse mode works like a charm. There are the occasional frame rate dips or visual glitches, but it happens so far and few between that it's almost not even worth mentioning. The issues that I have with the game can almost all be fixed by a simple future update. And honestly, the things that I love about the game more than outweigh the things that bother me. But one thing I don't love about Pookopia, and probably my biggest gripe about the game, is that it's a game keycard. No true physical release. I've been clear throughout so many of my videos that I am not a fan of game keycards, and I really try to avoid them the best that I can, but there's not really any way to do that here. This game could have been released on a true physical card. It's not a situation like with Final Fantasy VII Remake, where the game was so large that it couldn't fit on a standard card. And with Pokemon being the highest grossing franchise ever, they could have easily afforded that. But after actually sitting down and playing the game, I don't think that you should just outright avoid this game or judge the game based on the fact that it's a game keycard. Don't get me wrong, I don't love that there isn't a physical copy, but I don't think that that should take away from the fact that the developers created a very fun and creative game. Do I wish that there was a true physical? Sure, but that doesn't matter because there isn't. There's nothing that can be done to change that, and based on just how many people bought Pookopia when it launched, I don't think that the Pokemon company would ever see a reason why it should be changed. Does it suck? Yes. Is it the end of the world? No. Should it stop you from buying Pookopia? God, no. There are so many talented people that went above and beyond with this game. It would honestly be a disservice to punish them for something that was honestly probably out of their hands. Pokemon Pokopia is a game like no other. There are many games similar to it, but none that go quite as above and beyond as this one does. It took an easy premise of collecting Pokemon and turned it into a cozy, expansive, detailed game full of life and charm. The gameplay loop is so engrossing and fun and just allows players to do whatever it is that they want to do. There are so many little things about this game that just make a great experience even better. I like the world building in Pokopia. I like that there are little notes and photos that can be found around the environments that reveal more and more about the story and what this world was like before the humans disappeared. I like the little 3D printer that just allows you to print whatever kind of object you want. I like that this game leans into pretty much any kind of Pokemon fan. If you're someone who just may not be the most creative, there are prefab houses that allow you to build whatever it is you need to build just to move on. But if you are more familiar with games like Minecraft, Dragon Quest Builders, and so on, Pookopia allows you to just go wild and do whatever you'd like. You want to tear down a mountain? You can do that. You want to build a home inside of said mountain? You can do that too. Pookopia is the perfect game for people who just want to use their imagination, but by no means are people held back in their experience of the game if they aren't into all of that. It's an easy game to recommend to anyone who is just a fan of Pokemon, and even easier to recommend if you're into this style of game. As an admittedly big fan of Animal Crossing New Horizons, I thought that I would be waiting for years to find a game to really scratch that cozy itch, but Pookopia has filled that void pretty quickly. And with so much polish in detail, I don't know what the next Animal Crossing can possibly do to outshine Pookopia. But what I do know is that between New Horizons, Pookopia, and now Tamagotchi Life, the Switch 2 has plenty of cozy games to hold fans over for a while. Pookopia is a game that just lets your creativity flow, all while telling a great story in a relaxed atmosphere and keeping exploration and discovery a central part of the experience. It's an easy game to recommend, and it honestly may be the first Switch 2 must-buy for anyone to own. Whether you're exploring, building, or watching your little corner of the world come to life alongside of your Pokemon, there's definitely something charming about this game's sense of freedom. Pokémon Pokopia is definitely an adventure that I won't be forgetting or putting down anytime soon. Also, what the hell are you guys doing to your Mr. Mimes? What kind of trauma did bro put you through to do him dirty like this? So tell me, what did you think of Pokémon Pokopia? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, please give it a like. And be sure to follow me on all of these social media platforms. But whatever you do, I just want to thank you for watching this video. We're now back to our regular schedule of posting videos, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to keep up to date on all of my latest videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.